Hey y'all, listen, it's Justin with Daffy Ducks, and I want to go over a couple of things on what you want to look for when you are shopping to get your air ducts cleaned. The things that you need to know is the company and the technicians knowledgeable? Number one, do they have the right equipment? And then do they really understand what proper containment is? Because if you have biological contaminants, or even excessive dust and dirt, and you have allergy or breathing issues, and they don't understand proper containment, that can be a problem. And then lastly, the proper equipment to get the job done right. And then what does it look like to restore the integrity of your system? So let's just start here, right? So let's talk about equipment. So there's a lot of people out here that are kind of using stuff like this. This is called the RotoBrush air duct cleaning machine. Not what we use. I had these, I think I had about 7 or 8 of these. And I had so many because they kept breaking down. Number one, they did not properly have proper containment. Everything goes into this little pod right here. It's supposed to be airtight, but it leaks and it stinks like crazy. And as you can see, when you go to eBay and you look for duct cleaning equipment, that's pretty much all that pops up is these things. Because people get them, they hate them, they don't meet the expectations, and it's just not conducive to properly clean your air ducts, right? So that's something that some people are using. We've used them in the past. We got rid of them. We sold every single one of them. And again, we purchased multiple because they kept breaking down and we had to try to keep things moving. And then we just finally gave up and understood the deficiencies of that particular product in what we're trying to do. So let's start with containment, right? So we have our duct trucks here, and as you can see, let's look at the comparison. So you see this hose, I think that's a 2-inch hose that has a brush at the end of it. And there's also a metal rod inside of here that runs through, it's called a drive cable, that runs through this whole hose that spins the brush. So that's taking up space inside of there. And then you've got this little thing with a couple of motors on it that pulls in. Compared to our truck, that's a 10-inch hose that we run all the way up to the system. Inside of this truck, there are some super large turbines in there that creates major suction, and then it pulls it into this compartment here. Actually, we just had a post on our social media pages. If you go back to look at it, you'll see what it looked like inside of there and where all that dirt goes. So if you go to our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube channels, you'll be able to see what it looks like inside of there. So we tell people when we're cleaning, we actually connect to your unit and we pull the debris away from your living space. What does that mean? We take this big hose all the way up to the unit and then we create an access opening, right? This is what an access opening looks like. You see that hole right there? And we connect our hose to that. We zone off the section. So if there's a coil in there, we put something over top of that. And then we put the filter inside of some type of plastic to make it airtight. So the return side and the supply side are separated. And then the system gets put under negative pressure. The vacuum hose pulls everything outside of your living space to the actual truck. I'm going to see if I can pull up the video of where it goes at the end of this. So it goes to the truck, and then we go in and we agitate inside with our air hoses. That is also powered by the compressor on that big truck that you see in our equipment. And then we blast this stuff back to the vacuum through these holes, utilizing that big hose, right? So everything is being pushed and then pulled back to the truck. Now, when we're done with this opening, you see how nice and neat we got that thing open? Looks like surgery. You ever see surgery where the doctor kind of covers the patient up and then makes that really nice incision, flips? I'm getting nasty. Let me stop. Anyway, but when we go put it back, we see this really nice piece of sheet metal that is the same or thicker gauge than the original plenum so that we can restore the integrity. So we put that on there, we screw it in all the way around, and then we use mastic tape. You see that Nashua tape there? And that makes everything airtight. And then we get that sealed back up nice and tight. So that's what you call restoring the integrity of the system. And that is the difference between getting some of those smaller pieces of equipment with fly-by-night cleaners. We've been around almost 20 years, by the way, since 2007. But some of those cleaners, that's the quick, easy, inexpensive thing to get to start your business. It was our way of starting our business before we knew better and knew that there were better things out there. And then you've got criteria and credentials and training on how to properly clean. We talk about containment. It's super important. You can't go to a hospital and get a deal or win a bid to do a cleaning and not have this thing under negative pressure. They won't allow it. You can't just go around holding the thing up and then pulling the dirt and debris down into your negative air vacuum. Yeah, that's right. Some people actually have negative air vacuums, but they don't put the system under negative pressure. So it's not getting pulled outside. They'll tell you, hey, we have a negative air vacuum. It has HEPA filtration, and it does, but it's not being properly used. And that's where the training and the knowledge on how to properly clean comes into play. And we follow the NADCA standard. It's called the ACR, and we follow that cleaning standard and that guideline. And you'll see that required at hospitals, commercial buildings, schools, universities, etc. Right. So that was a quick little thing I wanted to share with you guys on how we do it. Even in high, you see, when we have situations where it's a little bit difficult to get to, we're able to figure out how to get the hose to the unit. You know, Atlanta, like, stuff is all over the place. So let me see if I can dig up this video real quick on where does the stuff go? You want to see? You want to see? Wait, I'll be right back. All right, so here we go. We're on the Daffy Ducks page, so facebook.com/Daffy Ducks Atlanta. You may be seeing this video on here. This is what it looks like.
That right there. Not our goal. Oh, a lot of things go. People been breathing. We pulled that all out.
That is where it goes. Away from the living space. So if they're not connecting to your system to pull the stuff away from the living space, you might not see that level of contamination, but everything is definitely not being contained. Ours goes in the truck. You see that big wheel right there? That's our turbine that controls our air for the vacuum and for the air compressor. So hopefully this was educational, helpful, and informative for you. And if you're shopping around and you're looking for the right cleaner, hopefully this helped to make a case for us to be the one that you look to trust your home with as far as the air quality and the airflow. Thanks for your time.